Typical day on the beach. I mean, no 2 days are the same. It was busy, probably 5,000 people on our patch, 3 of us looking after those. I went out on a board to go and advise some people who were swimming, where they shouldn't be swimming, where it was a little bit dangerous. And I got a call on my radio to say that I need to return to shore as soon as possible. So paddled back in, hit the shore, and I could see one of my colleagues running across the beach with what we call our responder bag, which is our oxygen and our defib and the drugs that we can administer. And normally when the responder bag's used, we know it's a pretty major incident. So yeah, so obviously I made haste across the beach to join him, and there was a 80-year-old man having a heart attack. Yeah, we're obviously trained to deal with that sort of stuff, but it doesn't really prepare you for the first time it happens. And it was a case of administering full-blown CPR, so compressions to the chest, and then using a defibrillator to shock the heart and try and get a rhythm started again. He was a grandfather with his wife, just enjoying the sun. His family were all in the water at the time, unaware of what was going on. So that was another dimension that we had to deal with. So not only have you got the stress and the pressure of you trying to save a life, but then you've got the trauma of a distraught family to deal with at the same time, as well as, like I say, 5,000 people on a beach that still need our care. So one lifeguard was having to watch the water while 2 of us were dealing with this, trying to get this guy's life started again, if you like. And we got a rhythm started again, and then he was able to be taken to hospital, where he made a full recovery, and he's continuing to enjoy his life. Yeah, and then the next day went into work. You never know what you're going to get. Middle of the afternoon, there was a loud noise and a bit of commotion under the pier in the water, and somebody attempted to commit suicide. They jumped off the pier. So I raced out on our rescue board again to bring them back in, and then was backed up by 2 of our younger lifeguards who are very new to the lifeguarding, but great, strong athletic people. And together we landed this person onto the beach, made a quick assessment, and had to choose a life over limb airway management, because they weren't breathing sufficiently, so we had to open the airway a bit more, and that it's a risk versus benefit thing with potential spinal injury. But I made the right call, and again, ambulance crew were pretty rapid, and we were able to, with some help from council workers and general public, we were able to get the guy on a spinal board, hold him straight, and get him up onto the prom, ready for the ambulance. And everything was great. Guy made a full recovery. So yeah, it's very, very lucky actually. Jumping into shallow waters, not to be advised. Again, I went home that night and thought, wow, there's a lot happening at the moment. It's a busy beach. And went in the next day, and I was stationed on a different part of the beach. Bizarrely, a pod of dolphins came down to the pier, and we don't often get dolphins in our area at all. And it's a magic thing when that happens, and a lot of people make a lot of fuss over it. But I think I was so amped, and I was so on high alert. I was in such a state of high alert that I reacted in a way that, wow, this potential shark attack and all this random thoughts in my head. And I just realised I was starting to have overreactions, a little bit of a breakdown. So the supervisor came down, and I sat with him, and he suggested the day off. He said, take the next day off, do something different, get away from the beach, have a day to yourself, see how you go, and then we can look at putting in a post-traumatic stress protocol. So yeah, I took the next day, met up with an old friend, went mountain biking for the day, just something completely different. It was really nice. it helped. Again, I slept well, I was fine. And then met up with our post-traumatic stress trainer, if you like, or assessor, I should say. And yeah, we went through some different things. I was having trouble. Had I made the right decision? I think everybody focused on the CPR side of it as it was the bigger of the incidents, but actually it was that second day where I felt much more pressure because I had to make a decision. It wasn't black and white. When you're given a scenario that there are 3 or 4 different options, do I want to move this person's head a little bit more to try and get more air in? Is that going to jeopardise potential spinal problem? And the trauma that you get from having to make that decision, having to almost play God to that person, do I want to be in that position? Afterwards, I questioned that to myself a little bit, and bottom line was 100% the right decision. You know, we went through it, we looked at the protocol, and I had done it. I'm proud to be able to do it. I was working one afternoon, and a woman came up to the tower, similar age to myself, and she asked for me. She said, "Is Tim working today?" And I said, "Oh, I'm Tim." And she sort of looked up and said, "Yeah, of course you are," and burst into tears. And I knew straight away that it was the daughter of the chap that we'd saved. And she gave me a card with some extremely kind words in. And we had a little walk along the beach, and we had a chat about how precious life is. Yeah, she was just, I don't think either of us could find the correct words at the time. But, personally speaking, I had a pretty serious heart problem years ago, and it's what prompted me to get into lifeguarding, really. I think when you're given a second chance and you can help other people, it's really it's a really good thing to be able to do that, to do a job you love and to make a difference. I'll be carrying on certainly actively on the beach as a lifeguard. I'm aiming until I'm 50, so another couple of few years left. So yeah, looking forward to 2019 season. Hope it's going to be a warm one, hope it's going to be a busy one, and yeah, carry on making a difference. Tim Retale, professional lifeguard.